In The Beast Reawakens, written by Martin Lee, we read on page 267, "Racist law enforcement officers often watched passively as neo-Nazis brutalized immigrants. In some cases, the police actually joined the fray and assaulted the same targets after skinheads left the scene." Amnesty International and other human rights organizations condemned what they saw as a pattern of police brutality in unified Germany. At a time when foreign nationals and ethnic minorities in Germany need to feel the police are there to protect them, many have felt instead a police officer's fist, boot or baton, Amnesty concluded. Manfred Kanter, Germany's Christian Democratic Interior Minister, summarily rejected the Amnesty probe. But Jürgen Bulger of the National Working Group of Critical Police Officers attested to the existence of a thoroughly aggressive climate against foreigners within German law enforcement and maintained that Amnesty's findings represent just the tip of the iceberg. The Nigerian government went a step further, lodging a formal protest with the United Nations and the German government over the death of 31 Nigerian citizens in German police custody, most of whom died of brain hemorrhages. Hanoi also protested to Bonn about the lack of protection for Vietnamese citizens, who had been repeatedly attacked since the wall fell. When the police arrested neo-Nazis for engaging in criminal violence, the assailants were usually released after a few hours. Back on the street, many quickly resumed their racist attacks. Those who stood trial tended to get off lightly, as evidenced by countless examples. Karl Polacek, a neo-Nazi chieftain in Lower Saxony, received an 8-month suspended sentence for bloodying a female anti-fascist with an axe. 10 members of the Hamburg-based National List, led by Christian Worch, got suspended sentences for the savage beating of a pregnant Vietnamese woman. 10 other rightists were given suspended sentences after they burned down a hostel for asylum seekers in August 1991. Even murderers could count on scandalously lenient treatment, as long as they claimed that they were drunk at the time, which is what their gang leaders instructed them to say. A group of neo-Nazis were sentenced to 2 to 4 years in youth detention for beating to death an Angolan guest worker in Eberswalde. One of the defendants testified that the police stood by and did nothing while the African man was pummeled senseless. Asserting that there was no political dimension to the case, the judge described the action as a typical youthful misdemeanor. And this is not really a surprise, as seen from page 269. The coddling of ultra-right-wing offenders dated back to the early years of the Bonn Republic, which stacked its courts with hanging judges who were responsible for dispensing Hitler's justice. Virtually the entire West German judiciary had served the Nazi state, but these arbiters of racial hatred hardly got a spanking after the war, even though they had ordered the execution of 45,000 people for dubious reasons. Reinstated in West German courtrooms, they polluted the climate of German jurisprudence throughout the Cold War and later. Today we have a similar pattern of protection for right-wing violence by the German state as we already have seen in the 1930s. Such violence is used by the administration when torture with directed energy weapons is not possible. Like in cases where the victim might leave Germany, return to his African village and tell everybody about systematic torture with directed energy weapons being used by the German administration.